Well, howdy ho, my peeps. It is the day after Thanksgiving 2018, and I am in the mood to Dollar Tree cook. Okay, so, I looked around and pulled out these three ingredients. Some fries. These happen to be steak cut, but you could use any kind of fries you get at the Dollar Tree or other discount store or fries on sale at your regular store. I've got some cream of mushroom soup from the Dollar Tree, and I also have the Snaps mushroom and cheese bites. So these three things combined into this casserole is going to make us a lovely dinner. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so there we have our potatoes down in the casserole that I've oiled a little bit. I cut the mushroom and cheese bites in half. I've evenly studded them through the casserole dish. And now I want to add some of this Campbell's tomato soup. But wait, there's something wrong. I have a couple extra bucks in my pocket. Maybe I should add something green to that. How about some cut green beans? Okay, we'll put those in before we add the soup. That's a good idea. That gives us some fiber and some green stuff, some vegetables going into our body. That is a wonderful thing to do. So let's just kind of move those around so that they are sort of evenly distributed across the top. Very wonderful. Okay, all right, now we've spent an extra $1. We're up to $4, but look at how that really adds to it. That's gonna just add to the nutrition as well as the color and flavor. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and distribute that cream of mushroom soup on the top now. Okay, we've got that mushroom soup in there, and we are going to distribute it evenly across the top of this casserole. That will heat up and be just lovely. I might do a little bit of this to kind of work some of that down towards the center a little bit. Don't have to worry about coating it all. Just like that. That will do nicely. Just like that. Okay. All right, so our casserole is now ready to be covered and to go into the oven. But you know, I really want this casserole to shine. I want to feel satisfied. I need some comfort food. So what do you do to a casserole when you need comfort food? Well, there's only one thing, and that is to add cheese. Okay, now we're up to $5. But you know what? $5 is money pretty well spent for this rather hefty casserole. There's quite a bit of food in here. You could buy, for $5, you could buy 1/4 of the amount of this food in a TV dinner style casserole and a healthy choice thing. You wouldn't have all these pounds of food in here for $5. So you're still saving quite a bit. And luckily for us, I remember that in the back of my cupboard, I still had a little bit of onions. Now these aren't from the Dollar Tree. These were left over from Thanksgiving, but it sure doesn't take many onions to put on the top of this to make it feel like Christmas. So now I need to open it up, and my fingers don't seem to want to function. So I'm going to go ahead and open this, and then we'll sprinkle a few on the top. So I measured out about 1/5 of that whole container there, and I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle this on the top, just like that. Give it some crunch. So there we go. We've spent about, I'd say, $5.75 or so. If this had been the Dollar Tree onions, I would have used about a half a package, so that would have been $5.50. So let's go ahead and cover this up with oil. We're going to put it in a 350-degree oven for about a half an hour. We'll check it and see how close to done we are. Okay, my peeps, while we're waiting for that to start to cook, I wanted to talk a little bit about the philosophy of the $3 dinner. When you create a $3 dinner, there are 3 elements you want to combine if you can. One is the basis of the dinner, which is always going to be a starch, because by its very nature, a $3 dinner is inexpensive, might I even say cheap to create, and the cheapest thing you can eat are carbs. They give you the most bulk, the most calories for the least amount of money. But sometimes all you have is a few bucks in your pocket and several days before you get paid. So when that stuff happens, I want you to think back to a $3 meal. Now, what you want, again, is your base, which is a starch. You want a vegetable of some kind, if you can, and also some kind of protein, if you can. Now, not all of these $3 dinners that you see me make have all of those elements. Sometimes it's a starch, and a vegetable. Sometimes it's a starch, a protein, and something else. I mean, I don't always hit it correctly, but I always try to go for something vegetable, a starch, and then some kind of protein. So that's 3 cans or 3 boxes or 3 cans and boxes of some sort of combination. So that's what I'm always heading for. Now, if you are, oh, and incidentally, that $3 isn't designed to feed one person one meal. That $3 is designed to feed between 2 and 4 people dinner. So when I say a $3 dinner, I mean that's for you and your roommates, essentially. Or you and your small family. So I'm going to change hands here because my arm's getting tired. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just sit up like this. There we go. Yeah, that's the whole idea of a $3 dinner. Now, you can take your any basic $3 dinner that I've ever put on this channel, and you can add elements to it to beef it up, make it, you know, better or juicier or saucier or cheesier or more satisfying or bulkier, depending on what your need happens to be at the time. So there are several things you might want to, if you have a refrigerator, and not everybody who makes food like this has a refrigerator. A lot of folks have to just have dry storage for their food, and, you know, if they're going to use fluid milk products, or if they're going to use cheese, or they're going to use some sort of fresh meat, it has to be purchased that day and used that day and eaten that day, because there's no place to store it. So having said that, if you happen to have cheese lying around, you can take a half a cup to a cup of cheese. Generally add that to the top of almost any casserole I've ever made. And then you can add something else special, like, oh, if you happen to have some almonds, sliced up almonds, or if you're not sliced, you can crush them up yourself. Having croutons on hand, that's always fun to add to the top. That adds crunch. But my favorite is the French fried onions and or the French fried jalapenos that you can get at the Dollar Tree, 99-cent store. I think I've seen them at Dollar General, stuff like that. So you can add cheese and a crunchy sort of topping. It could be breadcrumbs that you made yourself, whatever, just something crunchy. To the top of these $3 casseroles, to just add to the, you know, the bulk and the taste of them. Or not. I mean, if you're really pinching pennies, or you have nothing left in the refrigerator, usually you can do a $3 meal with 3 cans and or boxes of food from the Dollar Tree. So that's basically how I design these meals. I'll, you know, when I'm wandering through Dollar Tree, I'll look to see if they have anything new, any new kind of vegetable or new sort of seasoned carb, like a bag of you know, broccoli cheese rice or something. And those become the building blocks of these meals. So that is the philosophy. One more point on the philosophy is this. If it is at all possible for you to add some sort of green, fresh greens to your meal, do it. It's the best thing you can add to really jump up nutrition on these, you know, basically lower nutrition meals. And by greens, I mean something like chopped up kale, lettuce, cabbage, Swiss chard, any sort of green that can be served. Cabbage is wonderful. Cabbage is my favorite. But any sort of green that can be chopped up, cleaned, maybe dressed with a little bit of vinegar if you happen to have some, or some lemon juice. And then you put that on the plate, and that is the basis upon which you serve your piece of casserole to whoever it is that's eating. That is a huge improvement for nutrition. Most of us can grow greens most of the year. We can either sprout seeds like sunflower seeds, or we can grow microgreens in our window or on our patio. We can grow full-on greens if we have enough of a growing season. You can create a little hothouse that you can grow your microgreens in as well. So there are a lot of different ways to grow green things throughout the year, throughout this country. Obviously in the dead of winter, when you have no heat and very little sun, you're not going to be able to grow outside. You might be able to do a sprouting box inside, depending on if you have a light source that can function for that. And obviously in that time of year, well, instead of greens, maybe what you need to do is go get a bag of apples and eat an apple when you eat your dinner, and that gives you some fresh fruit. Or eat some cereal. I don't mean cereal, I mean celery when you're eating your dinner. Anything you can get that's green and crunchy, or at the very minimum, a fresh fruit or vegetable that's crunchy, that will really, really help. Because you need your fiber, you guys. That's really, really important. So that's my philosophy about how I design these meals and why I use the things I do when you see them. I get the funniest comments from people. The other day someone wrote something like, all she does is throw a bunch of junk in a casserole and put it in the oven. That's disgusting. Well, maybe it's disgusting. Maybe it's wonderful. You got to try it to figure that out. But it's survival. It's just plain survival for a lot of people. I think about people down at the border right now. Right now we're having that, you know, the great humanitarian crisis of 2018, where people came up from South America, and they're lining up, trying to figure out what port of entry they go into to get their, to apply for asylum. And it is a big crisis. And I think about those folks, and I think about what they're eating, and I think, man, you know, if I were down there and somebody offered me a big old slice of this casserole, I wouldn't say no. So on that note, I'm going to go watch some TV and wait for this casserole to be done, and then we're going to have Grant give it a little taste test. And here we go, fresh out of the oven. Doesn't that look wonderful? Now, that casserole would easily serve for, you know, moderately hungry people, or 2 super hungry people. So you get a whole lot for your $5. Let's go ahead and plate some of this up. I've prepared a bed of cabbage with some balsamic vinegar on it, just to give this as much bang for the buck as we possibly can. Get some more out the bottom. Let's give them a full-on quarter casserole serving here, this will fill most people up. I mean, That's a lot of food right there. So let's go ahead and take this to Grant and see what he thinks. Okay, there it is, all plated up. Isn't that beautiful? We are going to take this to Mr. Grant. He is going to take a bite and give us his official opinion. Now you've got that on a bed of lettuce honey with a little balsamic vinegar.
Oh, sounds wonderful.
Yes.
No. Very nice.
You like it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
I'll eat it another night.
Okay, wonderful. I've got more.
Good.
All right. See you guys later. Bye.